Last time I made a Basics of PHP video, I forgot a couple statements that are part of the control structures that do make life easier. You can work your way around them, around using them, but they can make life easier for the applications which they were intended for. These are the for and the for each statements. They can be used to create looping control structures. So we're going to cover those in this video. Okay, so in here we have for and we have for each. Now on for, the for structure is very similar to most other languages that are this curly brace block format. C, Java, they've got the same statement and it's the same structure. So we see in here the for statement is put in these parentheses. Whenever it is running, it will run whatever is in here. What is this, I bet you're asking, right? That's a good question. In here, we assign our initial variable that only runs on the first iteration. So that's the initial assignment that says where am I going to start. So I'm starting my count at 2. And then this is run on every iteration before it checks by condition here. So this is run to be able to, in our case, I'm counting down, I'm decrementing. So taking 1 off each time. And then here, this is a expression that evaluates to true or false. As long as it's true, it will continue to run. As long as a is greater than 0, it will continue to run this. But as long as it becomes false after it's run this, once it becomes false, then it will skip over this and move on to my next line. So the way we can see that over here, this was these two. So you see it did not run the 0 because as soon as it became 0, it stopped running it. So the first one was 2, ran the first expression in there on the first time only, and then compares and runs based on that. Any other ones other than the first, it ran this first, and then it compares and runs through. So we can see here it gave me 2, 1, but then once it leaves, remember this one here was written right away, and it left it, when it exited out of here, it was a 0. That's why it exited, because it became 0 on the last exit, on the last final expression, and then it evaluated to false here. Now, for each. This allows you to go through arrays and do something per each item in the array. In this case, I'm going to dump out everything that was in my variable. And as we look up here, the last time we set my variable, it was a key value store, like this. Key 1 equaled value 1, key 2 equaled value 2. That's what my variable is. So we have, it's going to go through this as, now we can, this is optional that we return the key here if it's a associative array like that. If it's not an associative array, we can just return the values, and then we don't need the highlighted portion here. So as key equals greater than value. So that key equals greater than, that's up to you. You can just put just straight a variable there, and then each time this thing runs, as long as there's something to process inside of this variable, inside this array, it will return an element of that array per each time that this thing runs until it's out of elements. And each element will be set to these. And in this case, it's key values, so we are setting the key to one variable and the value to the other. And we can see how this runs down here. This is so I'm just going to print out the key equal to value, the key equal to value. And then I will go on to code we already discussed in the last video on this. So if you haven't seen that, you'll want to go in there and see that. So here's where we can see that. Key equaled 1, key 1 equaled value 1, key 2 equaled value 2. Just dumped out my variable.
Thank you for watching.